hold on. If I create. Everything's right now is being keyframed on frame 10. If I start creating keyframes out here on different frames, I have a frame out here on 6. I think everything's getting keyframed, but at least either way, it's not animating back. It's not animating past that point. I mean,
Maybe it's intentional to pin the pose between.
No problem. So now we have animation downstream here that's, let me just go up here. Let me try this real quick. Go into parent mode. I'm just going to delete out these frames and see if this works. Yeah, okay. So now we have those keyframes downstream and upstream. They don't exist. Correct? Does everyone see that? The cool thing about IKBoost is even though those keyframes don't exist here, if I go into child mode, and I select these 2 keyframes here. In fact, if I select, I should probably add another keyframe out here just in case. You want to have keyframes on the ends, like the beginning of the animation, at the end of the animation. So I just want to make sure I have a keyframe here for everything. So I do have one on 15. So if I grab this, I have another keyframe downstream here on frame 6. But upstream, if I grab this one here, you see there's no keyframe there. But if I start sliding the timing, it's still sliding that frame, even though it doesn't exist on the one I have selected.
Because it was part of the child hierarchy?
Correct. It's part of the child hierarchy. So it's still, so if you have keyframes downstream that aren't lined up with your keyframes upstream, it doesn't matter. You can still edit. You can still slide the timing as long as you have keyframes that cover the beginning and the end of that animation. If I had one frame in here, I might not be able to slide the timing, but right, kind of like it's bracketed at the end so that it covers the animation. But that's a very cool feature because you don't have to worry about all the timing downstream. You can just slide the timing of your animations, and it's awesome. Imagine having hand animations where you can just grab the hand bone, slide the timing where you want all the finger animations to go. And some of the other features in IKBoost, which I will be showing, is that you can have your finger animations going. You can copy that and slide the timing of your copy. You can copy the whole motion, not just poses. You can copy motion and copy that motion down, slide the timing of that motion, which I will be showing once I get more into the character stuff. But back to the chain here. At the same time, I believe if you kill all the animation there, it'll delete keys. I'm just gonna hit OK. Oh, that was interesting. I deleted my 0 keyframe. Right. Don't delete your 0.
I don't suppose you created a default pose for this chain.
No, I didn't. I'll just have to probably reopen it up. I mean, if you guys know, you shouldn't, working with anything shouldn't really do out your 0 frame there. I'm going to reload the scene. That was my bad.
But if you had a default pose set up, it would have been an easy way to reset the...
Absolutely. And that's something I usually do, actually. I usually set up a default pose. And the way I usually do that is I'll go to -10, copy my pose. Yes, you should be. I should be. I should be. And I think you can just,
You get to hold down the key to do that?
no, didn't work.
Yeah, you shut something off that was on.
It's okay. I'm just going to go over here. Copy key from current. And it didn't work either. Oh, my bad. Copy key from current, so I need to be on current. Copy key for here. Put it on 9. I want it on -10.
I didn't know to put it to the left.
I copied from, I'm on 0, frame 0. I right-clicked over here.
Oh, okay, so you right click on the time bar and then you do copy.
Right, you right-click on the dope editor, actually.
And it creates a key there, okay.
And if you put copy key from current, it's going to copy from wherever time you're on in the current frame you're on. So now I do have a pose at -10, for instance. So now I can just go back to 0, and I'll always have that there at -10, just in case if I mess up.
Like that's ever going to happen.
Booster had some sort of reset option for resetting to a default pose after you do
Actually,
the default pose?
that's true. That's true too. For instance, I just showed that actually. It's over here, and as you can see right now, I have animation on here. If I just go to the commands, reset rotation here, and this will respect your keyframe modes. So if I hit reset rotation, it's just going to reset all the rotations.
Did you back out of the 0 key thing, or did it need to know what the initial state was, like when you had?
No, it just resets all the rotations for all the bones.
Okay.
Yeah,
Could that have been used to solve the broken chain?
it may have. I just didn't think of it.
Blasted thing.
Yeah, that's part of the reason that I have not used that system much is because the interface, the multiple menus, it just seems very uncomfortable in terms of finding the stuff, and then how you're struggling with the menu. I too was having some weird issues.
I absolutely agree. I totally agree.
Same thing that happened. I thought maybe I was just on crackers.
I totally agree, except depends on what kind of level of animation you're doing. If you're doing crazy hand stuff, and it might be advantageous to struggle with that a little bit. If you can slide timing with animation of hands and stuff, it might be worth it. It's definitely worth it from my perspective.
Yeah.
Well, for FK animation, this thing looks pretty awesome. I just have to know how to animate in it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
To get to know the
It's there's a bit of a learning curve at the beginning. You struggle with it a little bit, but it gets easier and easier. I promise you, it gets easier and easier to use as you work with it. And at some point, you won't want to not work with it. You're going to want to work with it on everything. Obviously, I'm working on it here with the chain. It works with bones. You can work with it on a rig, and on any kind of hierarchy rig. It doesn't have to be a chain. It can be as long as there's a parenting setup, it can be a landing gear for a plane or something, and you can start sliding the timing. It's very powerful as far as editing the timing of animation.
It could also be used for external controls of a rig. It doesn't have to be applied to like the bone character directly.
Right.
There's all these IK goals, and they're all parented to one null.
Correct.
You could apply IKBooster to that one null and get IKBooster on those.
That's right. You could parent any rig to one null, and you could slide timing with IKBooster because you've parented that one rig to the one null. You can start sliding that timing on that one null, and it'll slide the timing of all the animation you put on the rig.
The way I see it is it's like a batch editor. It's like just batch editing keys.
Yeah.
It just takes a while to wrap my head around it.
I'm gonna load up a tree. I hope here somewhere. Oh, if it loads up, there it goes. I'm gonna scale that tree down a little bit. Wrong key.
You tried to hit G, didn't you?
I don't know what I hit. I don't know which key I hit. Okay. Wouldn't it be interesting if we could wrap that chain around that tree? That would be pretty damn cool, I think. I say we go for it. Whoops. Grab the right controller. So everyone, you know, the biggest issue with IKBooster, in fact, the manual does a pretty good job of explaining what everything does. The biggest issue is, you know, what do I do with IKBooster? How do I work with it? When do I use it? And one of the things you can use it for is controlling these crazy chains. And I don't know if you noticed, but when I move stuff around with IKBooster, it's quite stable. It's not like if I had an a regular IK chain. If I applied IK from LightWave onto here, it would pretty much wig out. I'd have to set up the limits and set up rotations, and still probably wouldn't be as stable as what I get in IKBoost. And you always have the option of grabbing the IK here, but also doing kind of an FK on all these joints as you select them. If you left click on any of the access numbers and just slide them. So you always have the option of FK with IKBoost, which is what you want. You always want that control of being able to go to FK and then grabbing the controller and going to IK. And I'm just undoing back. So I want to wrap this chain around this tree. I'm going to need a point where I want it to start wrapping around from. I'm going to say right here. I'm just going to say IK stop right there. I'm going to click on the next goal forward. You can already see I got some control there. Still a little tricky. What's nice about IKBoost is there's a feature called, if you right click on the controller, there's a feature called handle. If you turn that on, it'll be checked as it is there. You'll come up with this kind of handle on your controller. It's a pretty cool thing because it kind of works like a pole vector, in that if you grab the tip of this line, the top tip, the very outer tip of this line, and right now the axis that's being affected is the pitch. I can tell because it's green, and it's like right here. All your axes are color coded. So if I just select right there on the tip, you can see it kind of works as kind of like a pole vector. Isn't that cool? Look how I can just wrap that around there now. And it doesn't stop it from still being a controller. I can still come here and grab it and can control it. And I can still use the pole vector kind of option here.
I can grab the line directly.
If you grab the line, it's going to move your controller along that axis. So if I grab the line there, you can see it's moving that controller up and down that one axis, which is helpful too, because you can see what it's doing here, just right here, not out here obviously, but right here in the chain. It's pushing it, it's pulling that piece of chain up and down.